Perfect. Mike Prendergast, we spoke last week about the potential in this Munster backline, and if they held on to the ball, went through the phases, and utilised the potential and especially the pace they had in that backline, that there was a result here for them. Now, they did all those things. I don't think I can remember seeing a Munster backline play as well in a long time, but just didn't manage the last 5 minutes of the game as well as they would have liked to, and ultimately just didn't come out with the win.
Yeah, it was a pity to come up short because I suppose winning in the game was there. I thought Racing came out with a lot of power play in the first 15 minutes and got an early score, and then Munster started, I suppose, got a hold of the ball and showed what they could do. As you said, especially off a couple of strike plays there in the first half. There was a lovely little strike play with a backdoor option to Ian Keatley um, and they found I suppose good space and good width off that ball and allowed them to play on the front foot. And yeah, I think it showed what I suppose what they can produce as a backline when they really have a cut, because there's so much talent in that as well. And with a guy like Chris Farrell as well, with his profile. I've said it here before that he's obviously a big, strong player, but also he's got an incredible skill set to him as well, including his passing, albeit one pass didn't come off exact, but in general, his passing game, his range of passing game, his footwork. So there's actually a lot you can put through him that would put doubt in the defenders' heads because you don't know if he's going to carry. You don't know because he has that sling of a pass that he can get out there, So as I said, it shows what they can do when they strike off set piece, and for the forwards or for any team in an attack shape, obviously your objective is to score off first phase, but minimum you get good front foot ball, defenses narrow up, they're on the back foot, you're playing on the front foot. In the next number of phases that follow, can be made a lot easier by having good strikes off phase play, which Munster showed in parts the other day, or
And Mike,
yesterday, I should say.
I know you say that the defenses narrow up, and I think the Racing, as they were defending Munster in tight, Racing became shorter or became narrower and narrower, and that's when you saw the strike play where Munster put the pot of forwards up like they were going to get the ball without the back door to Keatley, and we saw especially for Keith try huge amount of space. I think Earls was up against a second and a loose forward in that sense, and just went straight through the gap. That's the kind of play you want to see from Munster.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I suppose, as I said, coaching over here came up against Racing over a number of years. Obviously, with Ronan doing defence as well, there it was always quite interesting because defensively they've been very good statistically. As I said the other day, they've the best defence over the last number of years in the top 14. But it was like a couple of years ago, when Wasps had the rush defence. Montpellier had it a couple of years ago. Not a huge amount of teams implement it, and you look for ways of breaking that down. And obviously, Munster looked at that, and there's two ways of really counteracting it, and it's about either one, holding onto the ball and going through phases, and off a rush defence. If you can imagine, they'll come up 2-3 times. After that, to do it in sync, to do it with good alignment, to do it when you're all together, is quite hard, and especially against a team like Racing that are heavy. They're a bigger side, so I suppose from playing against them, the way we would have looked to counteract them was just to hold on to the ball and get through as many phases, and obviously do what Munster did at times as well. Just bring in that little kicking game, that little subtle kicking game, because in general, when teams come hard after a few phases, they tighten up as well. And as I said, they're not as aligned, so you'll find fractures, you'll find holes. And I think I remember once or twice in the game you could see it happening, and also obviously for Chris Farrell's try when the forwards went out the back door and gave it to Ian Keatley. Chris scored just beside the outside post. There was that much space. The last defender was there. So I think Munster did their work quite well on that. Potentially maybe hold on to the ball a small bit more. Just I think after about 20 minutes they were getting good. I suppose they were getting good gain line. They were playing on the front foot, and it was just once twice maybe they kicked it when they potentially should have held it. But you can see what they were trying to do as well. And as an attack, I suppose what you're trying to do is you're trying to paint different pictures for a defense. And as I said, against that rush defense, as I said, Wasps used to use it years ago, and teams were afraid of it. And how do you counteract it? And it's about holding on to phase, about playing on the line. And then eventually, once they come 3 or 4 times, it does narrow up. You do get space, and Racing have a tendency also of they defend from the outside, huge amount in, and that's where you could see the likes of Chris Farrell's try appearing.
Uh, I suppose we saw the last 5 minutes, especially that restart with Donica Ryan taking the ball. Uh, you know, we know forwards are always playing on the edge, trying to get that ball back, but just a killer of a penalty to give away after the momentum had swung back in Munster's favour. And you'd think, just look, if they get the restart, let them have it. Let's fan out and trust the defence. But it really was, it zapped the momentum straight away after getting the lead.
Absolutely, and it's a tough one because you're caught in there, and how do you get out of there? And I'm sure it's happening a lot now where you see it where the player that's tackled is trying to get out. Obviously, teams are looking to trap him in, and it's a tough one. It's a very tough one, but at the end of the day, it prevents you from playing. But you got to admire Donica Ryan's never give up, and it was him off that restart that got up there, and managed to win that ball back, and it was obviously a huge moment in the game. But from a Munster point of view, yeah, it was disappointing. But as I said, it's a difficult one because you could see he was trying to get out of there, but unfortunately, the ref blew it quite early, and unfortunately the penalty was given.
Mike, explain to us the thought process behind the last penalty. We saw Jean Klein kill the ball, and in hindsight, it was probably one of the best and the smartest penalties Munster have given away all day. But the thought process behind Racing kicking the 3 points there, the 3 points there actually made no difference whatsoever to the result and made no difference to next weekend. Surely the better option would have been either kick for the line out or take the scrum, because had they done that, the pool would have been in their hands next weekend. As it happens, it's
Yeah,
advantage Munster. A bizarre decision.
yeah. I suppose only Racing can. I know they kept saying after the game their first priority was obviously to win the game. But in certain circumstances, you really have to have your homework done. Coming, I suppose it's round five. What the permutations are, from a win, from a bonus point, from denying a bonus point. Obviously, I can't answer that, but the one thing I do know is their scrum was quite strong, and just in the area it was just to the left hand side of the inside post. That's a hard place to defend as well, a strike play, or even an eight, just coming off the back and bringing your forwards around the corner, especially with the power they had, the likes of Maka, that he showed that, I suppose, for their second try early in the second half with those power plays. Um, but yeah, it was an interesting decision. It's something that could, I suppose, come back and haunt them. But with all the experience they had on the pitch, you'd imagine that um, they would have had their homework done. But obviously, it's something, as I said, that could come back to them.